If you've been doing hundreds of crunches every single day and your love handles are still sitting there exactly where they were a month ago, stop. Stop right now. Because what I'm about to tell you is going to make you angry at every fitness video that told you crunches burn belly fat. They don't. Spot reduction is a myth, and the fitness industry has been selling you that lie for years because it keeps you buying more programs that don't work. But here's the part nobody tells you. There is a way to finally get rid of those love handles and that stubborn belly fat. And it doesn't need an hour at the gym, it doesn't need a single piece of equipment, and it only takes 10 minutes a day. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the exact method that's helping thousands of people finally watch their waistline shrink. And stay till the end, because exercise number 5 on this list is the one almost everybody does wrong, and fixing it alone can double your results. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is all about no-nonsense, no-equipment fitness that actually fits into a real life, not a fantasy life where you have 2 hours a day and a personal chef. Today we're tackling one of the most requested topics on this channel, love handles and that frustrating layer of fat around the lower belly and sides that just will not budge no matter how clean you eat or how many sit-ups you do. I want to be upfront with you. This isn't a do this one weird trick and wake up with abs tomorrow video. What I'm giving you today is a real 10-minute daily routine built on actual physiology, how fat is stored, why it's stored specifically around your waist, and what kind of movement actually convinces your body to release it from there. Stick with me through the explanation because understanding why this works is the difference between doing this for 3 days and quitting versus doing it for 30 days and seeing your jeans fit differently. Why love handles won't go away, the truth nobody tells you. Let's talk about why love handles are so stubborn in the first place, because once you understand this, the rest of the video is going to make a lot more sense. First thing, fat loss is never local. When you do 100 crunches, your body does not reach into the fat cells sitting right next to your abdominal muscles and burn them off first. That's not how human physiology works. Your body burns fat based on a genetic blueprint that's mostly out of your control. Some people lose fat from their face first, some from their arms, and for a huge number of people, especially men, the lower belly and the sides, the love handles, are the last place fat leaves the body. It's also, frustratingly, often the first place it shows up. There's a reason for this, and it comes down to 2 things: cortisol and visceral fat storage. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and chronically elevated cortisol, from poor sleep, constant stress, or even overtraining, signals your body to store fat specifically around the midsection. This is sometimes called stress belly, and it's a huge factor for people who eat relatively well but still can't shake belly fat. The second piece is that the area around your obliques and lower abdomen tends to store more visceral fat, which sits deeper around your organs and is metabolically more stubborn than the fat sitting just under your skin on, say, your arms or thighs. So here's the uncomfortable truth. There is no exercise on this planet that will target your love handles and melt them off directly. What actually works is a combination of 3 things happening at the same time: creating a calorie deficit so your body is forced to pull from fat stores somewhere, building and engaging the oblique muscles underneath that fat so that when it does come off, you reveal a tighter, more defined waistline instead of just loose skin, and managing the cortisol and lifestyle factors that are actively working against you. The 10-minute routine I'm about to show you is built specifically to do all 3 at once, which is exactly why it works faster than people expect. The real secret behind this 10-minute method. So what's actually different about this routine compared to the basic ab workouts you've probably already tried? The secret is in the structure, not in some magic exercise. Most people do their ab workout as a slow, isolated routine. 20 crunches, rest, 20 more crunches, rest. That barely raises your heart rate, which means you're not burning meaningful calories during the workout itself, and you're only working the muscle in a very limited way. What we're doing instead is combining oblique-focused strength movements with short bursts of higher intensity movement, back-to-back, with minimal rest. This does 2 things simultaneously. It builds and tightens the oblique and core muscles so your waistline visibly tightens, and it spikes your heart rate enough that your body keeps burning calories at an elevated rate even after you've stopped moving. Something called the afterburn effect, or EPOC if you want the technical term. That's the actual secret. It's not a hidden exercise. It's the combination and the order, done consistently every single day for 10 minutes. 10 minutes might sound too short to matter, and I get the skepticism, but the research on this is pretty consistent. Short, intense daily movement, sustained over weeks, often outperforms longer, less consistent workouts, because consistency beats intensity almost every time. The people who see results aren't the ones who do an amazing 90-minute workout once a week. They're the ones who show up for 10 unglamorous minutes every single day without fail. All right, let's actually get into the routine. The 10-minute routine, 7 exercises that actually work. Here's how this is structured. You're going to do each exercise for 45 seconds, followed by 15 seconds of rest, and you'll go straight through all 7 without long breaks. That's the full 10 minutes. If you're a complete beginner, you can do 30 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest instead. The goal is consistency, not perfection, especially in week 1. Exercise 1. Standing oblique crunches. Start standing with your feet shoulder width apart and your hands lightly behind your head, elbows out wide. Lift your right knee up while crunching your right elbow down to meet it, squeezing your oblique muscles on that side, then return to standing and immediately repeat on the left side. This is a fantastic opener because it's low impact on your joints, it doesn't require getting on the floor, and it immediately wakes up the oblique muscles you're about to work hard for the next 9 minutes. Keep your core braced the entire time rather than letting your lower back arch. That's where most people lose the benefit of this move. Exercise 2. Russian twists. Sit on the floor with your knees bent and your feet either lightly touching the ground or lifted for an added challenge. Lean back slightly so your torso is at about a 45-degree angle. Clasp your hands together in front of your chest and rotate your torso from side to side, tapping the floor beside your hip each time if your feet are down. The key here is rotating from your ribcage and waist, not just swinging your arms. Your arms should just be following your torso, not leading the movement. This is one of the most direct oblique exercises you can do, and it's also why it made this list instead of basic sit-ups, which barely touch the side muscles at all. Exercise 3. Bicycle crunches. Lie flat on your back with your hands behind your head and your knees bent at a 90-degree angle. Bring your right elbow toward your left knee while extending your right leg out, then switch sides in a smooth, controlled pedaling motion. A lot of people rush this exercise, turning it into a fast flailing motion that does almost nothing. Slow it down. The actual benefit comes from the controlled twist and the brief pause as your elbow meets your opposite knee, not from how fast you can cycle your legs. This exercise has consistently shown up in studies as one of the most effective ab exercises for overall core activation, specifically because it hits your obliques and your rectus abdominis at the same time. Exercise 4. Side plank. Hold. Lie on your side with your legs stacked and prop yourself up on your forearm, lifting your hips so your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your ankles. Hold this position, keeping your hips lifted and your core tight, then switch sides halfway through your interval. This is an isometric hold rather than a moving exercise, and it's here specifically because isometric core work builds the kind of deep, stabilizing oblique strength that gives you that tight, snatched look around the waist, way more than fast, repetitive crunching ever will. If your hips sag toward the floor, that's a sign you need to engage your core harder, not a sign you should give up on the hold. Exercise 5. Mountain climbers. The one almost everyone gets wrong. This is the one I promised you at the start of the video, and here's why it matters so much. Get into a plank position with your hands under your shoulders and your body in a straight line. Drive one knee toward your chest, then quickly switch legs in a running motion, keeping your hips low and your core braced the entire time. Here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They let their hips pop up into the air to make the leg movement easier, which turns this into a leg exercise instead of a core and cardio exercise. The moment your hips rise, you lose almost all of the oblique and core engagement, and you also lose the cardio intensity that makes this move so effective for the afterburn effect we talked about earlier. Keep your hips low, almost like you're trying to drag your knee under a low fence, and you'll feel an immediate difference in how hard your core has to work to stabilize you. This single fix is genuinely one of the biggest aha moments people report after trying this routine. Exercise 6. Standing side. Bends with reach. Stand tall with your feet hip-width apart and your arms extended overhead, fingers laced together. Bend slowly to one side, reaching as far as you comfortably can while keeping your hips facing forward, then return to center and bend to the other side. This move directly lengthens and engages the oblique muscles along the side of your torso, the exact muscles that create that hourglass tightening effect once the fat layer on top of them starts to reduce. Move slowly and with control here. This isn't a move to rush, it's a move to feel. Exercise 7. Plank to side plank transition. Finish in a standard forearm plank, then rotate your body to lift one arm toward the ceiling, opening into a side plank, then rotate back through center into a side plank on the opposite side, and repeat this flowing transition for the full interval. This finisher combines almost everything you've worked in the previous 6 exercises: core stability, oblique strength, and a touch of shoulder endurance into one continuous flowing movement. It's intentionally placed last because it's the most demanding, and finishing on your hardest move is what actually drives the adaptation that leads to real changes over the following weeks. That's the full 10 minutes. Do this once a day, ideally at a consistent time, so it becomes a non-negotiable habit rather than something you have to decide to do every single morning. 3 mistakes that are quietly sabotaging your results. Before you go try this routine, I need to flag 3 mistakes that I see constantly, because doing the exercises perfectly won't matter if these 3 things are working against you in the background. The first mistake is treating this as the only thing you need to change. 10 minutes of targeted movement is powerful, but it cannot outwork a diet that's consistently in a calorie surplus. You don't need to go on an extreme diet, but you do need to be honestly aware of what you're eating, particularly liquid calories from sugary drinks and alcohol, both of which are strongly linked to increased belly fat storage specifically because of how they affect insulin and liver function. The second mistake is ignoring sleep and stress. Remember what we talked about earlier. Cortisol drives fat storage straight to your midsection. If you're sleeping 5 hours a night and running on constant stress, your body is fighting against every minute of this workout by pumping out a hormone that's specifically telling it to hold on to belly fat. This doesn't mean you need a perfect life to see results, but even small improvements, going to bed 20 minutes earlier, taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply when you're stressed, measurably help. The third mistake is inconsistency disguised as busyness. People will do this routine intensely for 4 days, miss 3 days, do it twice the next week, and then wonder why they don't see the same results as someone doing it daily. 10 minutes a day, every day, creates a compounding effect on both the muscle tightening and the metabolic afterburn we discussed. 10 minutes done inconsistently just becomes 10 minutes that didn't really do much at all. If you only take one thing from this entire video, take this. Showing up daily matters more than any single exercise on this list. How to actually stick with this for 30 days. I want to give you a simple way to make sure you're still doing this a month from now because that's really where the visible change happens, not in week 1. Pick a fixed time of day and attach this routine to something you already do without thinking, like right after you brush your teeth in the morning or right before you get in the shower at night. This is called habit stacking, and it removes the need for motivation entirely because you're not deciding whether to work out, you're just doing the next thing on autopilot. Track it somewhere visible. A simple checkmark on a calendar works better than any app because seeing an unbroken chain of checkmarks creates its own motivation to not break the streak. And give yourself permission to do the lower intensity beginner version on hard days rather than skipping entirely. A slightly easier 10 minutes done every day will always beat an intense workout done sporadically. So that's the full method. 10 minutes, 7 exercises, 0 equipment, and a real explanation of why it actually works instead of just another list thrown together for views. If you commit to this for the next 30 days alongside even small improvements to your eating and sleep, you should start noticing your waistline feel tighter within the first 2 to 3 weeks, with visible changes typically showing up by the end of the month for most people who stay consistent. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who are stuck exactly where you might be right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want the full 30-day follow-along version, because I'm planning to post weekly check-ins so we can track this journey together, and drop a comment letting me know which exercise felt the hardest for you. I read every single one, and it helps me know exactly what to cover next. See you in the next video.